Today we're talking about Golden Duo, not as a meme, not as a vibe, not as this feels right, but as a theory that exists because the text of the game leaves a structural gap that still hasn't been cleanly sealed. And I want to set expectations immediately. This video is not here to prove Golden Duo is canon, it is also not here to debunk it. What we're doing instead, very intentionally, very carefully, is answering a narrower question. Why does Golden Duo keep resurfacing? Even after years of timeline revisions, book parallels, and supposed clarifications? Because the uncomfortable truth is this. Golden Duo didn't appear because fans wanted something complicated. It appeared because something about Golden Freddy doesn't resolve cleanly under a single soul model. So let's rewind to the start and build this up properly. In his very first appearance in Five Nights at Freddy's, Golden Freddy is anomalous. Not mysterious, not creepy, structurally anomalous. Every other animatronic in FNAF follows at least some mechanical rules. They move through rooms, they obey camera logic, they approach from consistent paths. Golden Freddy does none of this. He appears already in the office. He does not pathfind, he does not animate conveniently. And when he attacks, the game doesn't even finish the interaction. It crashes. That matters, because crashes in FNAF aren't neutral. They're used sparingly and deliberately to communicate something breaking reality, not just the player losing. By Five Nights at Freddy's 2, this escalates. Golden Freddy now teleports, alters audio, overlaps with hallucinations, ignores animatronic logic entirely, and importantly, he behaves differently depending on context, which is not something any other haunted suit does. This is the first crack. Early FNAF theory, the default assumption was simple: one dead child equals one animatronic. And for most of the cast, that works. But Golden Freddy resists that model, because when later games expand the backstory, we're introduced to two unresolved child victims whose narrative arcs do not cleanly end. The crying child from Five Nights at Freddy's 4, Cassidy, a name repeatedly associated with Golden Freddy through external materials and symbolic placement. Now, pause here, because precision matters. Cassidy's association with Golden Freddy is strong but indirect. The crying child's connection to Golden Freddy is emotional but mechanically unclear. Golden Duo emerges specifically because neither of these alone fully explains Golden Freddy's behavior. Let's talk about the crying child. His death is not abstract, it is not implied, it is shown. We see fear, confusion, regret, apology, and a promise. I will put you back together. But here's the problem. We are never shown where he goes. Every other major child death in the series is eventually anchored to a suit, a role, or a ritualized release. The crying child is not. Even Happiest Day, which clearly represents closure, does not cleanly map him to a specific animatronic in an unambiguous way. And that's where Golden Freddy starts re-entering the conversation, because Golden Freddy is the only entity in the series that appears broken rather than malicious, oscillates between aggression and passivity, behaves like a corrupted memory rather than a machine that feels like the crying child. But feelings are not evidence, so let's keep going. Now contrast that with Cassidy. Cassidy is characterized repeatedly as angry, persistent, punitive. By Ultimate Custom Night, we are explicitly shown a spirit who refuses to move on, traps the killer, perpetuates suffering intentionally. This aligns extremely well with the vengeful Golden Freddy. But here's the conflict. Golden Freddy across the series is not consistently vengeful. Sometimes he attacks, sometimes he watches, sometimes he vanishes, sometimes he does nothing. If Golden Freddy were only Cassidy, this inconsistency becomes harder to explain, unless something else is sharing the space. So let's be precise about the claim. Golden Duo does not say two bodies in one suit, two ghosts perfectly cooperating, or a clean split of control. What if Proposers instead is something looser and more FNAF appropriate? Golden Freddy is a convergence point where two unresolved spirits overlap, one driven by anger, one driven by grief. Not possession like the others, more like entanglement. And importantly, this is why Golden Freddy behaves unlike a normal animatronic. Now let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Happiest Day is often treated as a single moment of closure, but visually it isn't. We see multiple masked children simultaneous release. Golden Freddy present but not centered. This is one of the strongest symbolic supports for Golden Duo, not because it proves two souls, but because it depicts Golden Freddy as part of a group resolution rather than a solo one. That suggests complexity, not confirmation, but complexity. Now let's address the strongest counterpoints, because ignoring them would be dishonest. Counter 1, Golden Freddy is just one soul behaving strangely. That's possible. FNAF does allow unique manifestations. However, no other single spirit displays the level of dual-tone behavior across games. Counter 2, the crying child becomes something else entirely. Also possible, there's no explicit line tying him to Golden Freddy, which is why Golden Duo remains theory, not canon. Counter 3, the books contradict this. The books provide parallels, not confirmations. They complicate Golden Duo. They do not cleanly disprove it. Golden Duo persists because it solves multiple problems at once. Where the crying child goes, why Golden Freddy is unstable, why Golden Freddy oscillates emotionally, why Golden Freddy is tied to both grief and vengeance. It's not confirmed, but it is coherent. And in FNAF, coherence matters. So is Golden Duo canon? No. Is it reasonable? Yes. And only the series give us a clean, explicit answer for Golden Freddy's internal contradictions. Theories like this will continue to exist, not because fans want complexity, but because the story itself demands it. Golden Freddy is broken, whether that's because of two souls, one fractured soul, or something we still haven't been shown. That part remains unsolved, and honestly, that might be the point.